Good morning, Monday the 29th of June 2020. And I found this piece last week, and I just think it's worth the sharing on the back of some of what we've been seeing in the last week or two in the news. I thought it was an interesting piece. It's information I didn't know, so I wonder how many of you did too. It's about the the song Blackbird by the Beatles. And I've heard the song, of course, but I had no idea what it was about. Well, this is the story. Paul McCartney was visiting America. He was sitting, resting, when he heard a woman screaming. He looked up to see a black woman being surrounded by the police, and she was handcuffed. He thought that she must have done something dreadful, but he found out that the crime she'd committed was to sit in a section reserved for white people. Paul was shocked, because we didn't have segregation like this in England. But there in America, the land of freedom, was how blacks were being treated, he realised. McCartney and the Beatles came back home, but he remembered what he saw and how he felt at that time. And he also remembered watching TV and following the American news, the race riots in Little Rock, Arkansas, and the civil rights movement. And he saw the picture of 15-year-old Elizabeth Eckford attempt to go to school at Little Rock School as an angry mob followed her, hurling racist abuse. McCartney couldn't believe this was happening in America. He thought of these women being mistreated simply because of their colour. He sat down and he started to write. And then, later, at a concert, he was going to meet two of the women who'd kind of inspired him to write one of his most memorable songs. One of them was this lady, Elizabeth Eckford, and another one, Thelma Mothershed Ware, I'm sorry. And McCartney was going to tell audiences how he'd been inspired by the courage of these women. He writes, way back in the 60s, there was a lot of trouble over civil rights, particularly in Little Rock. And we would not notice this on the news in England. So it's an important place for us because to me, this is where civil rights started. We would see what was going on and sympathise. And it made me want to write a song that if it ever got back to the people going through these troubles, it might just help them a little bit. And that's this song, Blackbird. He explained when he started writing the song, he had in mind a black woman, but in England, girls then were referred to as birds. And so the song started. McCartney added that he and the Beatles cared passionately about the civil rights movement. He writes, this was really a song from me to a black woman experiencing these problems in the States. Let me encourage you to keep trying, to keep your faith. There is hope. And still, of course, the troubles rumble on in a slightly different form, but still we have acts of racism that are so counter to everything Christ taught us. And I thought this song would bring back memories for some of us who are old enough to remember it first time round. I found a version with the lyrics printed so that you'll actually be able to see them. And I hope you too have been interested in why Paul McCartney wrote this song. And maybe today in our prayers we can hold those who are being victimised, being punished, being hurt and ostracised because of the colour of their skin. God bless.